But thank you, everyone. And with that, I'll pass it over to Valentina to talk about payroll.
Thank you, Nick. Oh, sorry. There we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Valentina Taffert. I am a payroll consultant here at The Groove, and I'm really excited for all the updates that we're going to be talking about today in the payroll field. We're going to start with one of my favorites. It is the payroll agent. So, as some of you may know, the payroll agent has been launched sometime last year, but Workday has really increased the number of functionalities that it can do now. And so, with this release, it's bringing four new skills that I think are going to be really useful for payroll processing. So the payroll agent can now do core data retrieval. This involves something along the lines of let me know an employee's pay group or when is our next period start date period, and just small things that you can ask the chatbot instead of looking up yourself. So small time-saving activities. It also has some payroll data insight. This is really powerful. You can ask the agent, for example, when or why is someone's salary or net pay lower this period than the last? Or you can even ask it to compare big data points, such as why is this quarter's net pay for X pay group lower or higher than last quarter's net pay? And Workday and the agent really do a good job analyzing the information and giving you some suggestions. Of course, all this is AI powered, so prone to mistakes, but it can give you at least a guidance in the right direction. The payroll agent also has a new skill of identifying missing data and configuration. And Workday's example for this is payment elections. And so you can ask the agent, please find any worker that has missing payment elections and notify the workers that they have missing payment elections so they can complete the task. So this is the agentic part of this chatbot, right? You can delegate it to send this notification to let employees know that they need to update their payment elections. And then the fourth skill that the agent is bringing forward this time is minimum wage analysis. What this implies is you can ask the agent, first off, what are the minimum wages for each state? But then you can also take it a step further and ask the agent, based on the changes that have happened 6 months in the past or 6 months in the future, let me know what the cost impact for the employer would be, right? What is going to be, how much more we're going to have to spend to meet this minimum wage. Um, this is what we have for now. Workday has made it really clear that they're still working on the payroll agent capabilities and that they're really looking to expand in the functionality and what it can bring to the table. So what business challenge does this solve? It's helping us be more efficient and helping us provide us more insight, easier to reach, and it can also give us more information about our tenant, right? And things that maybe it would take us a while to figure out ourselves. The agent can run analysis in the background to really give us insightful information that hopefully can not only help us with our configuration, but also with our payroll processing as a whole. As for deployment considerations, this can be set up in the agent management hub, and you have to turn it on, and you also have to enable each separate skill. So you can have some and not others if you don't feel comfortable with some of them yet. Therefore, I would consider this a medium level of effort for implementation. The second feature that we have is the Global Payroll Hub and the Payroll Processing Checklist for Workday Payroll. And so what this means is before you were able to have checklists in the Global Payroll Hub for external payrolls that were not ran in Workday. Now you can have this checklist for the payrolls that you are running in Workday. What this entails is you will create templates of your processing checklist. So you can label all the tasks, you can delegate them to specific um, team players or team members, and then you can also add links or tasks that are pertinent to each step. And with these templates, you can link them now to a pay group and a period, and you can go through them when you're processing payroll and have it all in one place. Um, it gives you also other information such as gross to net pays, as well as compliance in or new compliance updates in the payroll field. And so this is really letting the payrolls that are being processed in Workday leverage the global payroll hub, which wasn't the case as much in the past. What business challenges this solve? It reduces manual tracking and it helps you audit things not across multiple reports now, but in one focalized place. And for deployment considerations, you just have to start by creating a checklist template, and then you can start attaching that template to the different pay group period um, combinations to attach it to each one. And then you can just run it and reuse your template over and over again. As for the level of effort, I would call this a medium. Once your template is set, it's pretty simple to reuse it and leverage the functionality. The third release item that we're going to talk about is the FLSA and FSP Insight. This is also an AI-powered feature, and it is designed to assist the configuration of the Fair Label Standard Act, as well as the flat zone bonuses. And so what this does is it uses AI to help you when you're configuring an earning that either has FLSA implications or flat zone bonus implications. How this works is when you're configuring the earning, as soon as you mark the earning to be FLSA eligible or resolved by FLSA, it will come up with a little prompt. And if you click on the prompt, Workday is going to use AI to give you some insights about FLSA and flat zone bonus configuration. This is being pulled from the Workday admin guide, and it is using AI to understand what configuration you have in your tenant and what information is relevant to you. So as we may know, the configuration of all of this can vary a lot, right? By consultant or personal preference. There's many ways to configure FLSA and flat zone bonus. The AI part of this is that Workday is going to look through your tenant and understand what configuration route you've taken, and the suggestions or input that it's going to give you is going to be relevant to your specific configuration. What business challenges is this going to help is going to solve? It's going to help you improve the efficiency of the configuration of your earnings by reducing the time that you're going to spend having to go through community and trying to find documentation of how you do this. And it's going to just simplify the process for when you have to develop new earnings by giving you helpful insights. So for deployment considerations, this is automatically available. You can opt out of it if you want to through the edit tenant setup payroll task. Um, and other than that, Workday really recommends that you establish best practices for using any AI related things. You should be reviewing, editing, and verifying the accuracy of the AI and all its content before you use it. But because this is automatically available, we will call this a low effort of implementation. And this is a visual of how this will look. So if you see on the left, we have the create earnings screen. And down there is where all the FLSA information comes in. So if you see, we have the resolved by FLSA period checkbox clicked, and then that FLSA inside little banner comes up at the top. When you click that, you'll be taken to the screen on the right, which is the FLSA and FSP inside page. And this is again the information that is AI guided and it's specific to you and your tenant. And the last feature that we're going to talk today about is the state level exception for local resident taxes and tax authority exceptions web service. So this one is twofold. The first one is that Workday is going to recognize a single state level exception and is going to automatically apply it to all associated local resident taxes. So before you had to go one by one for each local tax that was going to be an exception for every pay component. Now Workday is going to default any state exception into the local ones. This is going to be big for time saving and just not having to repeat yourself over and over. And then the second part of this is that Workday is releasing an EIB with this information. So you can extract your tax exceptions with this, and you can also load new tax exceptions if you don't want to go through the Workday interface. So this was also, I think, a great time saving advantage. What business challenge does this solve? Well, your setup and your maintenance is just going to be much easier, right? Tax exceptions are usually cumbersome to configure, right? So I think being able to infer it from the state to the local is going to be a huge help for all of us, as well as using an EIB when you have to maybe load them from the start is also a big help. This is automatically available, and so we'll call the implementation effort a lot.